Most Arc Raiders players are making these same mistakes I did early on. So I've brought you 20 advanced tips that will instantly make you better. And I guarantee a few of these will surprise you, even if you're a veteran player. I've got a couple hundred hours in this game, and these are the things I wish I learned way earlier. So grab a drink and let's begin. I want all of you to watch this closely. Reloading, that takes approximately 3 seconds. Swapping weapons, 1 full second. And in the time it takes you to do either of those, your opponent can pretty much dump an entire magazine into you in just 2 seconds. That means if you're standing in the open, running a standard 2-gun kit, and you try to reload or swap mid-fight, you're basically giving your enemy a free kill. So here's how we can fix it, or at least give ourselves a better advantage. In my last video, we went over a slide roll, which is basically sliding and rolling in an opposite direction, and then we paired it with a shot and a roll back into cover. What we are going to do is add one more input. So we are going to slide, shot, hit the switch weapon button, and then roll. And what that'll do is it'll allow you to roll while switching your weapon. It's best used to play off cover, but you're not always able to get into those situations. So if you find yourself in an engagement out in the open, use this to break line of sight and make their tracking a little bit more difficult so they're landing less free shots on you. Now, for my shoddy boys that like to do this is an excellent way for you to avoid unnecessary damage. That slide roll gives you just enough time to get into the next shot without standing in front of people while reloading. You guys are breaching doors all wrong. If you breach a door like this, you can't see behind you. However, if you move to the corner of the door and breach it from the absolute corner, you can see all around you, preventing you from getting flim-flammed. Utility, utility, utility. I can't stress the importance of using your utility enough. Here I am minding my business on Stellamontes when Tater Tot gets an absolute angle on me from behind. Now, I'm dead to rights here, and the only thing that allowed me to get away was the blue shield augment that pops a smoke grenade upon the shield break. This gives me enough time to circle through my inventory and grab a fuse grenade, in which I know this guy's gonna push me, so I front load a grenade into that smoke that ends up breaking his shield, evening up the fight, and I'm able to slide into a shotgun shot to finish him off. If it wasn't for utility, I would have lost that fight. Example number 2, I get caught out in the open on Buried City. I got half a shield and I'm in a terrible position, but I brought in a fuse grenade and 2 smoke grenades. So I decided to use the smoke grenade to give me some cover, and I pushed to the back side of the building, in which this guy makes the mistake of pushing up, not knowing where I am. I grab height with the No Toro shotgun. He has no idea where I am, and like Anakin Skywalker, never fight against the high ground.
Hey, GG.
GG, man. I thought you had me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. 2 fights that I never should have won, but utility saved the day. You should 100% be prioritizing upgraded augments and upgraded shields, especially when the augments come with the utility. As you saw in the videos, the shield break smoke grenade saved my life, and the blue shield gives you the highest survivability jump for your gear level. Heavy shields obviously being the best, but the blue shields being really easy to craft. Some of the purple augments have really good perks on them as well, like this one that allows you to shield recharge while you're running, which comes in real handy. And then my last point on these, instead of repairing them when they start to break, if they get down into the red, just go ahead and recycle them, because it'll give you back an arc circuitry. Then if you go into your gear bench, you can easily craft a full durability shield with that 1 arc circuitry that you got back and 4 batteries. I know it costs more batteries, but batteries are easy to find, and you could always head over to Celeste and buy them for assorted seeds. I really debated on whether or not to put this next tip in here, but this is the way you sound running and walking with a light backpack. Now this is the way you sound with an over-encumbered backpack. This means that in-game, you'll be able to hear that difference in other players. Do with that information what you will. Did you know you could be the Aaron Judge of Arc Raiders? The pickaxe actually has 2 separate swings. Left-clicking in the mouse does this swing right here, while right-clicking will do an overhand swing. Now, this really comes in handy for killing these damn pop, as well as the ticks on the ceilings. You can also get a decent swing at the wasp with the overhead. This also pairs really well in the skill tree with Sky Clearing Swing and Fly Squatter perk. This is going to be 2 tips in one, and I think most of us are struggling with stash space. So here's what you can do to fix it, and I like to call it the gun mule. If you are sitting on a load of attachments that you don't want to get rid of but are taking up space in your inventory, go to one of the weapons you aren't using, right click on it and go to inspect. This will bring up every available attachment. So what you can do is shift click on these and easily get them out of the way, freeing up 4 spots per weapon. Decent way to clear up inventory space really fast. There are 2 separate speeds in which you can ascend and descend ladders. One is just regular W key and S key for a nice slow pace, but if you hold the sprint button, you climb the ladder a lot faster and descend the ladder a lot faster. Just keep in mind that this does take stamina, so if you're low on stamina, you will run out. Between 8 to 12 meters is around the height you start to take fall damage from falls. You could easily judge whether or not you'll take fall damage by pinging the ground to get an approximate fall distance. Now, if I just regularly jump off this, I take fall damage. However, if I time a roll, I avoid fall damage altogether. Now, these abilities pair really well in the skill tree with sturdy ankles, taking less fall damage when you fall from a non-lethal height, and ready to roll. When falling, your timing window to perform a recovery roll is increased. So clutch in those situations where you're low health but have to jump to get away. If you're looking to quickly mod out your weapon and you have a load of attachments in your inventory, all you have to do is click the empty mod slot from the weapon slot and it'll bring up the attachments that you can add to that weapon. Then you can easily just shift click them over for an insanely easy way to just mod out your weapon without taking up a bunch of time. We learned in my last video that splitting stacks is easily done with Alt. If you don't want to bring a 5 stack of shield rechargers into the raid, you can just hold Alt and drag. But a lot easier way to do this on PC is to hold Shift and Alt and click the item, which will automatically split the stack for you and put it in your inventory into your quick use spot. This also works the opposite way. So coming out of a raid, if you don't want to bring all your utility back into the next raid, a real simple way to get it back in your stash. You need to make sure you are taking advantage of in-round crafting in this skill tree, if nothing else in these survival nodes. This can keep you alive a hell of a lot longer, especially if you've ran out of bandages and shield rechargers. It's also really easy to craft adrenaline shots in raid and light impact grenades. Or if you just simply want to craft smoke grenades to help you extract a lot easier or get out of situations where you might be pinned by other players or Ark. So do not sleep on the ability to craft in-game. If you go deeper into the survival tree, you unlock Traveling Tinkerer, which unlocks additional items to field craft. Now, I haven't taken it, but the community says it's extremely useful. Don't go crazy when it comes to grinding out weapon attachments, because let's take a look at this. This is a level 1 Stitcher with no mods. Now that's no recoil control. Let's add an attachment onto the gun that's meant to give it a 30% reduced horizontal recoil. I mean, it's literally no different, and it's supposed to be 30%. And keep in mind that some of the perks on these weapon modifications will in fact ruin the other perks that you've put on there. So if I add this lightweight stock to the gun that increases the ADS speed, in which here's it without it, and here's it with on, so a clear difference there, it insanely increases the vertical recoil. So the gun with absolutely no attachments, and the gun with attachments either isn't far off at all, or it's slightly worse depending on what you've put on. So just really pay attention when you're choosing weapon mods for your guns, because they can have some gnarly effects. Now let's get into some community supplied tips. These tips were supplied by community members on my last video in the comments section. I think it would be a great idea to appreciate the people that commented with helpful hints for other raiders by showing what they wrote. Dismelian writes, don't keep augments or shields in your stash. Craft them as you need one unless you can't craft a specific one, because they always take away one standalone slot for no reason, while the materials to craft them can stack up to 5 to 15 at once. So that's an extremely useful tip for freeing up your inventory space. He also writes that if you're at endgame, stop keeping any ammo in your stash, unless it's Hull Cracker ammo. Craft or vendor buy them on the fly for a raid, especially if you have crafting materials and heaps of money already, because ammo isn't that expensive to craft or buy, and it's also helpful with freeing up inventory space. MS2505 writes, check how many bullets your gun carries in a magazine and carry it as extra ammo before you enter a raid. This extra ammo will then be loaded into your magazine when the raid starts, giving you an extra magazine of ammo and keeping an inventory slot free. So looking at this in game, if the Stitcher we are carrying in game takes 25 bullets, you load into the raid with it empty, and it's going to draw from this 100 stack of light ammo. Hopping into raid, we see that this is exactly what happens. So his fix for this is to bring in that extra ammunition in a slot by itself. So you would load 25 extra rounds in a single slot. That way it loads directly into the gun upon raid entry, leaving you with your 100 stack of light ammo untouched and an extra backpack slot to do whatever you please with during raid. Excellent tip from the community, and really big brain that you figured that out. Let me know in the comments below if I missed any tips or tricks, and if I really like what you write, I will try to feature you in the next video I do. Hope you guys found value in the video. If you're looking for more advanced guide, I've linked the full 300-hour video in the description below. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for future videos, and I will see you on the next one.